Well, hello there. Happy New Year to you guys. God bless you. Thank you for joining Repurpose. And this is your girl, Michelle, and I am your spiritual repurposing teacher. And I help people repurpose pain, problems, and pitfalls and help them walk into purpose. Listen, we have been blessed with an entire brand new slate, if you will. We made it through 2023. Listen, we made it through 2020. Can somebody just drop a thank you, Jesus, in the chat? Listen, today I wanted to talk to us about pain and just talk to you personally about what it has taught me. And prayerfully, this will help somebody on today. Webster describes pain this way. It says it's a localized or generalized, unpleasant bodily sensation or complex of sensations that causes a mild to severe physical discomfort and emotional distress. Here's where we want to land. It also says in Webster.com about pain that it is a mental or emotional distress or suffering. And Webster also specifies as it refers to grief when it talks about pain. Well, if you're like me and millions of other people that may be watching this, we don't necessarily need Webster to define pain for us. We know it all too well if we're honest. And most of the time when people say that experience is a good teacher, when you peel back the layers and ask them to unpack that, most times, more times than not, they're referring to pain. They're referring to the fact that they've been hurt, they've been burned, they trusted someone that they maybe shouldn't have. They didn't trust their own instincts. Maybe they've had their heart broken. All of us, from the playground to maybe where we are now, we know pain. It's a part of life. John 16:33 says something very powerful. It says that in this life you will have trouble, which encompasses pain. We live in a fallen world. We ourselves are flawed. We deal with other flawed human beings. And so none of us are perfect. And for that reason, and for that cause, pain will be part of the journey. What we want to understand and get out of pain is the lesson, or we want to make sure that we start to make wiser choices where we minimize the pain or the results of pain in our lives. And so I want us to look at Psalms 119 and verse 71 on today. Psalms 119, drop it in the chat. If you're here, God bless you. Thank you for joining. Share, invite, and tag. YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like the video, invite people to all of our platforms at Michelle Repurpose Evans. I really would appreciate it as we get ready to really do life and go into the stretch of what this season is going to bring. And so let's look at Psalms 119 and verse 71. The psalmist says something very strange about pain. And I say the psalmist because they can't really ascribe it to everyone saying, David wrote all the Psalms. That's not true. Here, they're not sure who wrote it. But the psalmist said something very important. The psalmist said, "It was good for me that I was afflicted." He goes on to say why. He says, "that I might learn." I want us to look at the Message version of that. Y'all know, if you have traveled with me and trekked with your girl for any length of time, you guys know that I absolutely love the Message version. I encourage you this year, as you read through the Bible, do a parallel study of, whatever version you like best, but also bring in the Message version. It really breaks it down. It makes it very easy to understand. And so the Message version of Psalm 119 and verse 71 says this: "My troubles," pain, "turned out all for my best. They what? The pains and the troubles forced me to learn from your textbook." The psalmist is saying, you know what, God, when I encountered pain, when I went through something, when I went through troubles, it forced me, it compelled me, it pushed me, it stretched me into learning. That's a very important lesson for some of us here today, because I'm going to talk about what pain taught me, but I want to really just glean a revelation from what the psalmist just said. A lot of times we go through life and pains of maybe that were inflicted on us by other people when we were too innocent to defend ourselves. Maybe, can we be honest, there's some pains that we have encountered due to poor choices, or due to not listening, and due to not listening to the leading of God, or our spirit saying don't go that way. But so often when we talk about pain, we normally hear people victimize themselves and make it seem like everybody put the pain on them. But sometimes we have to be honest, is how many times have we caused others pain? We don't hear people own that very often. We always hear, in these media social streets, we see so many videos and so many sound bites about, people hurting us, and especially women. I see that so much that it really grieves me. All of the TikToks and the reels, and women talking about how men have hurt them over, just the needs such healing to move forward. But sometimes the pain that we experience, it is self-inflicted from our choices, or us thinking we can change people, or ignoring the signs. And so the psalmist says here something very important that I want us to glean today as we talk about what pain has taught me. I want us to learn something, that when we go through life, we want to be a learner. Drop that in the chat. Just say it. I'm a learner. We are stretching mindsets this year, where we're having a growth mindset. And a growth mindset says that even if I walk through something painful, I'm learning. It's not here in my notes, but you can refer to it in James 1. James 1:1 says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, and one version says troubles. Pain. Why? It says, because the trying of your faith is working patience and perseverance. You're supposed to be getting something out of it. And so when we go through anything, instead of saying, why me, woe is me, pointing the finger at them, blaming them, let us be like the psalmist here in Psalm 119, verse 71. It says, listen, it was good that this happened to me, because it turned me into a student. So I want to just share 3 things with you very quickly that pain has taught me. Number 1, it has taught me that I'm alive. I have feelings. I am, in this human body, but I'm a spirit being in this human world, in this body, and I have a heart. I have feelings. I have emotions. But being, going through pain, it has taught me that I am alive, that I'm not superhuman. I don't open up this jacket and there's an S on my chest. I'm not superwoman. I'm not superhuman. I move in the supernatural only by the help of the Lord, but I am human and I have feelings. And pain has taught me that I am alive. I'm in the game. I'm alive. It's just a part of life, living in this imperfect world. The second thing that pain has taught me is people are flawed. We're all flawed. We tend to be hard on others sometimes for the very thing that we beg to have grace in. I'm going to say that again. We tend to be very hard on others for the very things we beg God to give us grace in. We're quick to focus on pain placed on us, and sometimes we don't have the wisdom or the awareness, come on, to admit the pain that we've caused others. I know, I've had to apologize and ask for forgiveness for the pain that I've caused other people, whether it was by word or deed. People, we are flawed. And pain has to teach us that no one is perfect, including the person looking back at us in the mirror. And we have to make sure that while we're learning the lessons of pain, that we give grace sometimes to the people that have caused us pain, because we want grace. Now, let me be clear about something. This is not an all-access pass to allow people to keep entering in and out of your life and running roughshod over you, treating you as a doormat, continuing to mishandle your feelings, mishandle your emotions, make light of your kindness, make light of the fact that you say you're a believer, you're a Christian, then that means you're supposed to put up with any and everything. That is not true. That is not true. We are to love, but it does not mean that I am to subject myself to pain that I know that somebody or someone is causing us. And so I want us, as we stretch this year, to set up healthy boundaries. And it's not just to keep out painful things or keep out the wrong people. It is to be healthy within yourself, to say, listen, this is the standard I have for me. This is the boundary, and it will help eliminate some of the pain that we may or may not encounter. Will we ever go through pain again if we've gone through it once before? Absolutely. Why? Because again, every single day that we wake up on this side, we are waking up flawed. We are encountering flawed people, and we live in a flawed world. That is what pain has taught me. If we just settle that, and understand that pain is a teacher, and then where I can eliminate pain as much as possible with my decisions and choices, or what I allow and what I don't allow. Once all of those things are in place, whatever I'm walking through, help me to have the attitude of the psalmist that says, it was good that I went through this, because now I've learned an aspect of God. I've learned an aspect of myself. Oh, come on. Can we be honest? I learned something about myself. I learned that in God, I was stronger than I thought I was. I learned who to trust, and or what level of trust to give certain individuals. I learned that I needed to decide and pick better. I learned to trust my decision-making process. A lot of people are hurt, or a lot of people have set up these walls, not because they not only don't trust other people, they don't trust the person looking back at them in the mirror. They don't trust their picking, their decision-making process. They don't trust their vulnerability, or their vulnerability. They don't trust themselves. And so I want us to learn. Be a student of yourself. Learn from whatever it is we walk through. Learn from the pitfalls and the problems and all of the pokings of the enemy, and say, God, help me to learn from this so that I can turn it or use it in my purpose. Lastly, I've also learned that not only has pain taught me that I'm alive, that I'm flawed. We're all flawed. I don't care how perfect we come off. There are people that expend an enormous amount of energy to look and come off perfect. Don't want to be embarrassed, and everything's got to be just right. And then that's such a stressful life. Showing up as your authentic self is letting those that are closest to you be like, listen, being around me sometimes might be messy. There are sometimes, this comes with being around me. Why? Because I'm flawed. And if anybody else is, if anybody's going to laugh at me, I'm going to laugh at myself. I'm going to take my growth seriously, but I'm not going to take myself too seriously. I take God seriously and what he has for my life. But as I look at myself, as imperfect and as flawed as I am, I don't take myself too seriously. It's not that deep. I'm not that deep. I think a part of us, some of us need to understand, in order to be approachable and for people to receive sometimes the messages we're trying to convey, there has to be a rapport. How is rapport established? It's letting people know that, listen, I go through some of the same things that you go through. I have some of the same emotions that you have. Hey, I have the same scar. I have a scar too. So pain has taught me that I'm alive. Thank God. It's taught me that I'm flawed and the people I do life with are flawed because we live in a fallen world. Where is that? Go back to Genesis chapters 1, 2, and 3. It is the result of a fall from a perfect place. Now everything is imperfect. So let's just settle that. Drop it in the chat. Everything is imperfect except God. Including all these people we put up on pedestals and are in awe of, and we're in awe of their gift and their talent and their accomplishments. Nothing wrong with that, but they're flawed. And pain has taught me that because I'm flawed and because other people are flawed, sometimes that will cause pain. Lastly, pain has taught me that redemption is possible. Listen, we serve a God that wants to repurpose all of the pain, all of the stuff that we've gone through, all of the stuff that's been thrown at us, all of the stuff we put our own selves through. When we come to him and say, God, I need your help. Forgive me, guide me, search me. I don't know what I'm doing. God, I'm at rock bottom. He wants us to know, you and I, to know that redemption is possible. God can restore. He can redeem. He died to do that. He can repurpose. Those of you that understand where the birthing of this ministry Repurpose came from, it is birthed from the life of Joseph, Genesis 37 to chapter Genesis 50. And when you read the story of Joseph, all of the pain, the pits, the falls that he went through, even the prison, if you read his story, there's a common theme. It says, but Joseph was favored. And sometimes with all the pain and some of the things that we go through, the last thing we think about is the fact that I'm favored, because it just doesn't seem right that pain and favor go together. But when you read the story of Joseph, it talks about how it keeps saying that, but Joseph was favored by God. And as you read his story, you see what that means. But the life verse that Repurpose was birthed out of, that is one of my life verses, that is the core of who I am, other than Psalms 27, is Genesis 50, 19, and 20. I'm going to close with this. And if you know the story, I want you to read it. Genesis 37 through chapter 50. Joseph is now face to face with the same brothers that sold him and by now probably thought he was dead because of what they did to him. And now they realize who he is. And their father has died. And the brothers say, oh my God, because Joseph is in a position of power, in a position of prominence, he's surely going to get back at us because he has every reason. Sometimes we have a reason to do things, but we don't have the right. Another story for another time. He's got every reason to get back at us. And he's in a position that he can do it. And Joseph overhears his brothers. And in Genesis 50 and 20, Joseph says something. He asks them a question first. He says, am I in the place of God? Meaning, am I God? No. He says, what you meant, what the enemy was going to try to use to destroy me and really kill me, he says, God is using now to save many people alive. God is using the very thing. God has repurposed that pain of being betrayed by my brothers, the pit that you threw me in, the pitfall of Potiphar's wife lying on me, the prison I sat in for all those years. God is repurposing all of that pain. And now I'm standing here, not only in prominence, but I'm standing here in purpose. And I am in a position to bless you and all of your families. And that's what Joseph does. And so I want to encourage you today that as you maybe write down the lessons that pain has taught you, I also want you to identify some areas where pain has you stuck. You don't even realize it. You're bitter, you're angry, you've shut down in a certain area of your life. And if you were to sit with me as I coach people and really peel back the fruit and get to the root of why people do what they do, some of you are not healed from pain. You've not learned the lesson of pain. It has caused you to be cold-hearted. It has caused you to shut down. It is aborted relationships. It has aborted opportunities. It has aborted blessings. So I want you to be honest. We're going into a new year. People love the mantra, new year, new me. I came by to burst that bubble. If you and I don't have a new mindset, which is renewed every single day, if you and I don't start to replace certain habits, we can go into a new year, a new country, a new continent. We can go into space, but we will still be there. The old us will still be in a new place. And what will eventually happen is the old us will sabotage the new place. So pain has taught me that I'm alive, that I'm flawed, and everybody I do life with by choice is flawed. But it also teaches me that redemption is possible. Listen, I've made some horrendous mistakes in my life that have caused pain. And if man had their way, I would have been written off. I probably would have been dead. But God, through his processing of me, has redeemed my life, redeemed the gift he placed on me or in me from the time I was conceived. And he's continually redeeming me every single day that I show up to do what he's asking me to do. So I want to pray for you. Maybe you don't realize where pain has paused your life, but I want you to sit. And I know we have our vision boards, and I have my vision book, and I'm writing out, continually still writing things, and brought some things over from 2023 into 2024. But I want you to pause for a second and say, and ask a very important question, because society teaches us to blame everything on external circumstances or other people. But I'm the purpose provoker. And I came by to say, listen, even if other people cause the pain, where have you caused it? And where are you stuck? And be honest with God, be honest with yourself so that you can move forward. The enemy's trick is to keep us silent and to keep us stuck. But I came today to say, listen, no more silence, and you're getting ready to be unstuck. God is stretching you from that place where pain has paused your life, and you've given so much power to that pain and so much power to the person that caused it. You're living in condemnation and guilt because of the pain you caused yourself. Can I tell you something? All you have to do is ask God to forgive you. He says he's faithful and just to do that and cleanse you of all that stuff and redeem you and redeem your life and set you back on the right path. And so my prayer for you today is that you would learn from your pain. Call it your teacher, call it your instructor, and learn what you need to learn and move on with your life. Don't be stuck in other people's opinions about you. Don't be stuck in the past. Don't be stuck in people trying to hold things over your head. Move forward. It is a new year, right? But we have to come into it with a new mindset and a new and renewed spirit so that we can get everything that God has for us. Listen, I'm your girl, Michelle. I am your repurposing teacher. And I'm so glad that you joined me today. I encourage you to like the video, share, invite people into the Repurpose Tribe. It is a movement all over the world. I didn't realize that until my team pulled the analytics and showed it to me in black and white. And I was just blown away. And I'm so grateful. Who am I that he is mindful of me? I am just grateful that he is. And I want you to remember this. What the enemy in the world meant to ruin you, God wants to use it to repurpose you. And so till next time, we're going to be consistent, we're going to be intentional, and we're going to be mindful. I love you guys. God bless you.